for the Cavaliers.
Oh, snap. Why is this? Okay. Now we are live. I just got to get more people are going to come in, though, but I'm not going to wait 10 minutes for them, so we're going to get started. Hopefully Joel comes in because I do at the end want to talk NFL mock draft, but we'll see. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the 24th episode of Some Casual Takes, a podcast hosted by me, Stephen Pepper, featuring other sports fans debating interesting topics with the most casual takes. This episode is brought to you by no one. Sponsorships, figure that out. So, yeah, man, we out here with Good Takes Only. Shout out to Good Takes. Plug his TikTok. Good_takes only on TikTok. And we got Chris, man, back with Chris to talk more basketball. Everyone keeps telling me talk March Madness. I just can't. I literally don't know anything about the players and the team dynamics. I just casually pick brackets. I would love to talk March Madness. I would love to talk about last night's games. Shout out to Amari Bailey, the dude who Drake was messing with his mom, hit that clutch shot against on UCLA. But, Gonzaga just said, I'm going to hit another clutch shot, and the game was over. Other games from yesterday, Kansas State, Michigan State was pretty good. They got that one guard. I don't know if you guys are watching, but they had that one guard who was really good. His name's forgot it. Let me pull up his name. Yeah, Marquise Noel.
20 and 19, right?
Marquise Noel.
Yeah, he had 2019. He sent them home. He sent Tom Izzo. The great Tom Izzo is sent home. That's so surprising to see Michigan State losing.
This guy's probably having arguably the best performances in the tournament. I mean, he dotted up Kentucky for some 20 points, but bro, he's 5'8", 160.
Not only was he throwing dimes, dude, he was chucking it from the logo from 3 too. It was ridiculous. You see those lob passes he did too. He was like arguing with the coach on the right side, right, about a play or something, and then you see something in the corner of his eye and he just shoots it. Alley-oop, reverse dunk.
Yeah. The problem with him though is he's 5'8". Yeah. I was talking to my dad yesterday. Like, my dad was like, "Oh, this kid should probably go first round with these performances." I'm like, "No," because remember when Carson Edwards was like 5'9" or something like that, and he was going for like 10 threes for Purdue, and he didn't really get drafted high.
And then he got drafted by. We know how Carson Edwards is now. We know where he is. He's not in the NBA anymore.
5'8", 5'9" guys cannot. I think Edwards might be in the G League, but these 5'8", 5 guys, they can't hold in the NBA. So you're trying to take the rack against guys who are like 6'7", and you're going to meet Joel Embiid, who's 7 foot in the paint, and you're literally 5'8".
I mean, just look at what happened to Isaiah.
And you can't block that.
Yeah.
No matter what you produce, no matter what you produce on offense, like if you're a liability on defense, they can't use you for a certain amount of
5'8" is going to be a liability on defense.
Yeah, just your
height. With Thomas, great point guard, played well, played great for Boston. And after
MVP conversation
got thrown around. Yeah, and then he got traded or backstabbed by the Celtics and said, "Hey, you're going to get traded to Cleveland." And we know what happened in Cleveland. The hip injury happens, and now he's a free agent. He was actually on NBA TV last night, and it's so weird to see him on television being a analyst instead of playing ball.
Oh, really?
I mean,
analyst now?
We don't know if he's going to play. Yeah, he was on like the NBA TV and stuff last night, and my friend's like, is he playing on a team? No, he was with the team last year, and we don't know if he's coming back. That's like the bigger question because there's still a lot of free agents that are still available, but we're already at the halfway point of the NBA season, so there's no point of signing him, and it's already too late.
Shout out to FAU, the 9th seed took down Tennessee. They're in the Elite Eight. They could win that whole region. Who do they play? They play Kansas State. That is going to be the match.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. And then the Sweet 16 is still going on today. There's a couple of big ones. You got San Diego State and Alabama, Houston against Miami, Princeton and Creighton, Xavier and Texas.
Miami. Xavier and Texas is going to be really good because I've always been high on Xavier all year. Unfortunately,
against Texas.
Texas winning that in my bracket, so. San Diego State, Alabama should be good because San Diego State's a pretty good club. Miami's not that good. I don't know how Miami's made it this far. Houston's
That's going to be a big. That's a big one. That Alabama game is because people, if you have Alabama in your bracket, you should be nervous because people said,
"Well, national championship."
Yeah, like some people like you have 3 brackets and you have Alabama in one of them. Yeah, but it's a good thing that I hope that I can make it far because in March Madness season, many people make it far, like Gonzaga and Baylor a year ago did, and Gonzaga got walloped in that game, and people were so angry when Gonzaga lost.
Yeah. The problem, okay, so I'm pretty much done with college basketball now. So to everyone who was spamming me, that was your 2 seconds on college basketball. I hope you're happy. Okay, so to the NBA. The problem with this show is that I have a Monday show and I have a Friday show. So that means between on Tuesday and Wednesday, there could be all this news that happens, but I can only
and we have good games
Friday. So when it comes to Friday, Tuesday, and Wednesday games are 2 to 3 days old. So I'm keeping that in mind now because I'm starting to realize, like, hey, if I really want to report on these games or give my takes on these games, because there's a huge gap between my Monday and Friday shows. Thursday's fine because you have to report on Thursday and Friday, but Tuesday and Wednesday, especially, these newses are like 2 or 3 days old. I'm getting better at it. I'm gonna start making more TikToks, like post-game reactions on TikTok so I don't have to like talk about old news on the show. But the Lakers played 2 days ago, and I just cannot not talk about the Lakers. I mean, every day I talk about the Lakers on the show, and I'll forever talk about the Lakers on the show as far as LeBron James is on this team. So the Lakers played the Suns on Wednesday. I was break. I was watching. It was a really, really good game.
Revenge game.
I was a little scared.
Revenge game.
I was a little scared coming in this game because on Monday's show, I said to everybody we were going through the Lakers' remaining schedule and seeing the win-loss. I penciled in the Suns game as a loss. And because I was a little scared, I was like, Devin Booker could light us up. I don't know what I'm going to get from Anthony Davis. And
Austin Reeves came up clutch.
The Lakers won.
Oh, yeah. And here's the thing about the Suns and Lakers. If you don't remember, everybody knows that this is a game that I've always had circled. I've always been wanting the Suns since 2021 when we came in as champions, because everybody remembers my theory of the 2020-21 season. And when the playoffs started in 2021, Lakers and Suns, as you already know, in Game 6, Davis gets hurt, LeBron's alone, Lakers will go on to lose. Last season, we played Phoenix twice. We get eliminated them from they eliminate us from the play-in tournament, and then the Suns would obviously say we own LA. And Booker would always point up at the
going back to the playoffs.
Booker would always point up at Kobe's jersey and say, I will remember the quote of what I said. I forgot what he said. What Book said. Legendary. It was something that Kobe told Book. Kobe told Book about, and he has a tattoo on his wrist and stuff. It was something that Devin Booker. Yeah, but that's Lakers, that was a statement win.
Big time. The Lakers weren't able to take out the Suns since that Jay Crowder and LeBron James 1-on-1, 1v1, shimmy on the back thing happened. That was like in 20.
The meme. The meme,
exactly. They hadn't beat them since that moment. So
Drummond going like this.
Since Game 3 of the first round.
It's the Drummond effect. It's the Drummond effect.
But I'm happy they did big. Yeah, but for Phoenix.
For the Lakers.
For the Suns.
All went for 25 plus. Look at these stats. The big three, the new big three. If you thought AD, Russell, and LeBron was the big three, you are mistaken. It is AD, Russell, and Reeves. That's the championship big three. All three went for 25 plus. And it was a great team win. So I want to ask you guys, I'm going to start with you, Good Takes. How confident are you in the Lakers after the win? How confident are you in the Lakers' playoff chances after the win against the Suns?
So for me, it's been going up and down, so volatile for me. But I'm just gonna stick with it and say this. Just in general, in the West, between 12 and 1, you really don't know who can beat the other in a playoff series. It's depending on the day. It's depending on who's injured, who's not injured. But for me, I'm actually confident that the Lakers are a top 3 team in the West, healthy in the playoffs. When you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who is arguably the strongest duo in the league, now you have like Embiid and Harden right now that probably take them out. But a year ago, everyone would agree that it would be Anthony Davis and LeBron James being the most dangerous duo, especially in the playoffs. And now you got D'Lo, and now you have Reeves coming on with some momentum. Like me personally, if they get matched up with a team like the Nuggets, I could see them taking out the Nuggets. So I'm confident in the Lakers. Am I confident that they're the number one team in the West? No. But I'm also not confident in any team in the West, including my Warriors. So,
what about you, Chris? How confident are you in the Lakers' playoff chances after the Suns win?
I'm thinking that they can make the playoffs. I mean, they're playing great basketball the second half of the season. And to start the year, the Lakers had issues with, we didn't have three-point shooting. We don't have good playmakers. We got too many point guards on the roster. We don't have any active bigs, but since the deadline acquisitions of D'Lo and the emergence of Austin Reeves and the emergence of course, Darvin Ham's new coaching style, this Laker team is playoff bound. We will have to wait and see because right now, with the standings, the Lakers now are the 9th seed. They have one more game, one more spot, because Dallas is now the 8th seed, which is surprising because the Mavericks have been good with Luka.
Dallas
and we all saw what happened.
The season
we all saw what happened last Friday.
I could be mistaken, but they're also doing this without Bamba and Rui. Is that correct?
No, yeah. LeBron and Bamba are out. Rui is still playing.
Oh, okay.
No, Rui played. He just wasn't great.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he had no points at all.
LeBron.
Yeah, no Bamba, no LeBron.
Yeah, that's the big question because even though there's some Laker news or injury news, LeBron will be expected to be back towards the end of the season. That's a little bit of some Laker news. Those are the sources I've been hearing from Woj. I'm the Woj bomb guy, so we don't know. We'll have to see if LeBron will be healthy.
I've learned new things about Anthony Davis, though, and especially with the game, what was that, yesterday, right? Anthony Davis, it's truly in his head. When he decides to be physical and when he decides to be imposing, he's that guy that where we argue he could be the best big man in the league. But then there are other times where it just looks like he's not putting any aggression on the offensive end. Like always on defense, he's going to be good, whether he's aggressive or not. Like he's going to get his blocks. He's a big body. He can't be bad on defense. But on offense, I truly believe it's up to him and his mentality because I saw a huge discrepancy between the first half and the second half. It looked like an entire separate player. When he decides to go at it, when he decides to go at big men, he crushes them. But when he doesn't, it's like, this is Glass Davis.
Yeah,
he always gets injuries.
I saw that too. I've been saying it for the last few weeks too. As far as Anthony Davis, when he's on the court, he'll always be there defensively. I think he'll get his blocks. He'll stuff people in the middle. But offensively, it's where he needs to lock in. Is Anthony Davis going to want to go down the post and bang out, hit those turnaround drop steps, dunk on people?
Literally.
Anthony Davis is going to be too passive or settle for way too many three-pointers or bad mid-range jumpers when he should get aggressive and go down low. But, yeah, like I said, that discrepancy in the second half really won the Lakers the game because in the first half, I'm like, okay, where's Anthony Davis? Is it going to be one of these games again? Because I've been saying for a while now, if the Lakers want to win without LeBron James, well, at any point, even with LeBron James, but especially during this stretch without LeBron trying to make the playoffs, Anthony Davis needs to be 28 and 10 plus each game. 28, 10 rebounds, 10 to 15 rebounds a game, and that'll be a guaranteed win. And so far, every time Anthony Davis is like 28 and 10, the Lakers have won. And every time the Lakers have lost, it seems like Anthony Davis is like 26 or less, or like 19, or that dreaded 8-point game. So when he's locked in offensively, he's so hard to beat because he's going to give you that offense and defense, and he's doing so much on defense. And I just wish he can give that consistent offense because, like you said, if he is on, because with the defense, if he is on offense, he could be the best big man in the league.
We have conversations about it all the time. As soon as he goes on those stretches.
We did in the bubble. We literally did in the bubble. Because I remember before Giannis won a championship, was Giannis better? Yes. but there was convos getting started.
Not even the bubble. Think about the beginning of this season. He had like a 10-game stretch where he was putting up 35, 20. These guys are like, oh, the best big man in the league is back. So as soon as Anthony Davis puts it on, you can't deny his two-way ability when he's producing.
I remember after the bubble, Giannis was a 2-time MVP, and this was a 4-year championship, and he was losing the playoffs. I still always believed Giannis was better, but there was conversations whether Anthony Davis was actually better than Giannis Antetokounmpo in 2020. And that's because we saw what Anthony Davis could do when he's locked in on offense and still giving you that defense.
Yeah.
But as far as the Lakers' confidence in them making the playoffs, I'm extremely confident in them going forward. I think they're not safe because they have to play the Thunder tonight. If they win the Thunder tonight, I think this is probably, when we talk about a must win, this is a playoff game for the Lakers. I think this is a 2-game swing. If they lose throughout the rest of the season, I think it should be the Eastern Conference team because it's only going to move them like a half game or a game down. But if they lose to a West team that's fighting for a play-on spot, like the Jazz they still have, or
Pelicans are still fighting,
Timberwolves, or they lose to the Mavericks, or they lose to the Thunder, that's a 2-game swing. So if they lose to like the Dallas Mavericks, which they did previously, Dallas went up 2 games above them instead of Lakers taking
a buzzer beater by Kleba.
Yeah. So tonight
that was Davis's fault, though.
I think I'm confident. I'm really confident in Lakers right now, but I would be extra confident. I think if they win tonight, they're playing lock. I think they're playing lock if they win tonight. They'll be 500 if they win tonight. They'll have another game on OKC. That's a play-in win against OKC. That's confident about beating the Suns. I think they're playing lock. But just because you're playing lock, I would still rather than be the 8-9, the 7-8. I kind of don't want to be the 9-10 because that means they got to win 2 games. But at least becoming a play-in lock for sure if they win the Thunder tonight. Anthony Davis, like you said, he has to be going throughout this entire game because they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander competing on the other end. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander
and Lu Dort
tonight, so we need
Dort
Anthony
on
Davis
defense.
30 as well.
Dort on defense, but you're forgetting about something about the schedule. You forgot about the schedule. The Lakers' next games they have the Thunder, but then they have to play one of their former teammates who's been talking a lot of junk about Lakers didn't do this. Pat Bev and the Bulls. We go to Chi-Town on Sunday to play the Bulls. Then Pat brings
in LA. Sunday's in LA.
Then they come to LA, and then we go down to Chi-Town on Wednesday. And Pat Bev better bring the smoke. And then we have Minnesota. We have Houston, Utah.
Extremely important game.
So the Clippers.
They're right next to each other.
Yeah,
and the Clippers.
Extremely important game.
We have the Clippers, of course. Then we play Phoenix, and then we have Utah on our home finale. The Houston game, when they lost the Rockets, that game was pathetic, and that game was embarrassing.
Yeah.
No Anthony Davis, but still, you need to get that game.
I want to know if we have a back-to-back because we have we have no back-to-back.
Is Jazz and
the Clippers won.
That's the final.
It's crazy how close this is because if the Lakers win out, they can take the Clippers spot at 5. They can skip the
Clippers don't have PG.
They don't have
There's
PG.
no PG.
Like so many things.
And they can and Kawhi Leonard and Kawhi might not be playing either. Let's not forget that. If Ty Lue's gonna be smart, load manage Kawhi and then load manage Russ.
Yeah.
Darvin Ham said after the Lakers lost to the Rockets that Anthony Davis will play the final back-to-back of the year, and it looks like he will play against that Clippers team
because they were limiting him on back-to-backs, weren't they? They weren't letting him play this season, yeah, and that did hurt them because they ended up losing a lot of those back-to-backs as well.
But I say every show, and I feel like I'm a broken record, but this season is on Anthony Davis because look at the supporting cast. D'Lo, since coming back from injury, he's giving you 20 a game on great numbers. I mean, he had that one bad game. I think it was against Dallas. But other than that, 26 the other night. But the man of the hour is Austin Reeves. This man, I think I heard a stat, he's the first undrafted free agent to average 30 in like a 2-game span.
Did you know that Austin Reeves has the best true shooting percentage of a guard in the history of any guards that exist. Of course, it's a small sample size, but he has a big enough role to where that's actually impressive.
He has a small sample size, but I really like Austin Reeves. Too bad he's going to leave in free agency because some team's going to throw him some hot money.
Yep.
Oh no! Is he free agent this summer?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he wants 50 to 70 mil or something like that.
He's gonna get it.
Lakers should retain him. I mean, he's like Caruso kind of. When the Lakers had Caruso,
think about this. If
They let him
Brunson
walk.
gets 100 million, what's stopping a team from offering Reeves 100 million?
They won't because Brunson was in the playoffs though, and Brunson had a bit more season sample size.
Yeah,
and then Dallas let him walk. I mean, the Mavericks obviously they were like, okay, we're not going to keep him. And also, if you didn't know about the Brunson news, the Knicks were involved with tampering with Brunson because his father is on the Knicks staff. So
yeah,
the Knicks don't have any draft picks.
I want to say really quick about Brunson because I don't want to talk about the Knicks. But about Brunson, I think when I look back at my takes over the last year or so, coming into the season, I think my Jalen Brunson take was probably the worst take I've had all season. I whiffed on that hard. I remember when they signed Jalen Brunson, I didn't have a TikTok or anything, so this was what I was saying to my friends. I said, Jalen Brunson, the Knicks overpaid for a role player, and they're going to have a hard time competing when their top two players are Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. And now Jalen Brunson's giving you 24 a game. I did not see this leap. He could be up for most improved. I did not see this leap at all. Shout out to Jalen Brunson. I completely whiffed. I thought the Knicks were going to be a 7-8 seed play-in competing team.
The best signing of free agency. He was the best signing.
I didn't see this coming. I just thought they overpaid for a role player because when you think about the Knicks' history, missing on LeBron all the way back then, getting Amari Stoudemire, missing on the lottery
Carmelo
pick,
Anthony,
missing on the lottery pick to get a Zion, couldn't get KD, couldn't get Kyrie. The Knicks are always rumored to get the top free agents every year. They never get them. And then when they finally sign someone with a lot of money, it's Jalen Brunson. And I'm over here bro, they just overpaid for a role player. The Knicks are doomed. They're a playing team. I don't like this team at all. I wasn't also a big fan of RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. All of a sudden, they're the 6th seed in the East, 5th seed. They're competing really well. And Jalen Brunson's now an all-star. So shout out to Brunson. But back to Austin Reeves. Do you guys notice how many free throws this dude is taking?
A lot of them are and ones too, man. He gets every and one. He's not shying away from contact. I love his game.
Superstar calls. I think it's so funny when you watch Austin Reeves. He's getting these bump calls that only superstars get. It's
exactly.
Little bumps, blocking fouls that only superstars get, and he's converting at a high rate though. That's why his true shooting is so high because his free throw percentage is high. And his field goal percentage is so high because he's converted. I think someone said in the month of March he's taken some of the most free throws out of any player in the NBA. That's more than Joel Embiid or something like that. It's crazy, the development of Austin Reeves. I didn't see Austin Reeves ever being like this, ever. I thought he was going to be a good, solid role player because I always liked him at Oklahoma. I liked him last year, but I didn't think he was going to be this. I thought he was going to be 10 points barely a game for the Lakers. And now he's coming in, starting now. Shout out to Darvin Ham, putting him in the starting lineup. And he's getting buckets. But I want to do this little game with you guys because Austin Reeves is getting a lot of attention. I want to do a little would you rather with Austin Reeves with kind of players of his similar role on the team. So we're going to do a would you rather Austin Reeves or this other player. We're going to do a would you rather Austin Reeves or this other player. And these players, like I said.
And this is right now?
Yes. Would you rather have this guy on your team, Austin Reeves or this guy?
Okay.
And we're going to start with a few players. These players are similar to Austin Reeves' role. So I'm not going to say Steph Curry or anything. So would you rather have Austin Reeves or Quigley?
Between Emmanuel Quigley or Reeves. Quigley does bring energy off the bench sometimes for New York, and he can be efficient. But after the game last night against the Magic where Randall and him were fighting, or Julius Randle was going to strangle Quigley, I would go with Reeves because Quigley is a lightning rod and can get you technical fouls and stuff. You saw that last night, right?
Yeah, I saw this morning, yeah.
When Randall just got to strangle him.
Yeah.
No, he was gonna kill him. Like he actually was like, "What are you doing? You're gonna get us that? You're trying to cause it." And he was, yeah, he was not having it because I mean he got into it with Quigley when they played the Clippers. He got into it with him when they played the Clippers too, where he was having to be separated from his teammates, and he told Quigley, "Stop touching me, stop holding me." He's like, "Go over there." I'm not gonna. He's like, "Go, you sit down." And I mean, Randall does have a temper. When he played the Lakers, he got into it with Russell once. So same thing. I'm gonna, yeah.
Got into it with
Reeves.
Garnett.
Yeah, the Garnett. I keep seeing that on TikTok all the time. Like,
I love that one. Ricky Randall doesn't back down.
What about you, Takes? You or Emmanuel Quickly?
No, I'm taking Reeves. Reeves is just too efficient, and I mean he takes over the offense because you can put the ball in his hands too. That's the thing about Reeves is he's playmaking. He had 13 assists the other night, I'm pretty sure. Or was that 11 assists? So Reeves is just doing too much on the offensive end for me to put Quickly in front of him right now.
Reeves. What about Malik Monk?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Remember the overtime game against the Clippers? Same Malik Monk.
Ooh, well,
that's dead in the center. Wow. I might have to take Monk. I mean, the Kings are where they are right now. So
like the beam.
Monk helped them get to the. I can't really hate on a 2 seed, man. Monk's been a crucial role player to that Kings team, dude. I gotta take Monk.
Yeah,
you gotta give him credit. You know, he might not do this another year. I'll give Monk the credit he deserves.
I'm gonna give him credit too because him and Reeves, when the Lakers made their decision to not re-sign Malik Monk, and I thought that was a key. He's a key player, and the Lakers should have kept him when the season started and everything. I was like, the Kings got him. I'm like, oh, great. Sacramento snagged him for nothing. We let him walk. And him and Malik, I'm going with Monk and the Kings because the Kings this year have been lighting that beam out there in California.
They're like that. They're like that this year. So.
Light the beam.
Oh, this one's tough. This is 6-man versus – he's no longer 6-man anymore because Austin Reeves is in the starting lineup, but 6-man versus 6-man. Austin Reeves or Jordan Poole?
Poole, and I'm biased because I've seen that he's been able to perform not only at a playoff level but at an NBA Finals level. Poole has produced highly in the NBA Finals, so as much as – at this very moment, Reeves could be outplaying him in the last 10, 15 game stretch. When it comes to the playoffs, and we're going to be in a playoff series, if you're going to ask me who I want on my team, I definitely want Jordan Poole.
That's a tough one for me because between Jordan Poole and Reeves, because of the Draymond Green fight and the punch, Poole obviously is a good player I'll pick over Reeves because Poole's a champ and it's always a pool party down in Golden State.
I think the Jordan Poole and Austin Reeves debate is interesting because it's hard to compare. Because if you look at their overall season stats, Jordan Poole's clears, but Jordan Poole's had the opportunity to shine more. Austin Reeves
he's asked to do more as well.
Austin Reeves is finally getting superstar shots. Jordan Poole's getting. He was finally getting all-star level shot taking. So over the course of the season, Austin Reeves' season stats won't show it. But I think I agree with you, good takes. Not until I see Austin Reeves taking some star shots at the highest level in the finals, in the playoffs, I'm gonna take Jordan Poole. I'm gonna take Jordan Poole. I remember Jordan Poole when Steph Curry was coming off the bench against Denver. This man was 30 a game. Jordan Poole was 30 a game. Yeah. Austin Reeves is the more efficient player. I get that. But until I see him take those same shots at the highest level like Jordan Poole, I think that's the separator between him and Jordan Poole at this moment.
I'll give Reeves some slack, though. Jordan Poole has had the keys for a lot longer of a time than Reeves has to take whatever shot he wants, to take 20 shots if he pleases. So with Austin Reeves just getting the keys and what he's shown so far is pretty good. But like I said, we just need more time.
Yeah, we've seen Jordan Poole take these level of shots and have this responsibility that Austin Reeves is finally just now getting with
Yes.
LeBron coming out. Jordan
Yeah.
Poole's had this for a longer period of time going into last season, and Jordan Poole's done it
When
in the
Clay was
playoffs.
out,
I will give
let's
you.
not forget when Clay was out, he was starting.
I do think Austin Reeves is a better defender, and a more efficient player.
Yeah.
But like I said, we've seen Jordan Poole do it at the highest level, and I think that has to be the separator. We have to give Poole some respect, but I think it's really close, and I can't wait to see Austin Reeves do it in the playoffs. But what about Malcolm Brogdon?
I'm taking Brogdon.
I'm taking Poole. I'm taking Reeves over him because Brogdon's been, in my books, I don't think Brogdon's been consistent with Boston coming off the bench because he's not putting up those numbers.
I think Malcolm Brogdon. I think Malcolm Brogdon is the front runner for Sixth Man of the Year, and I actually think it's due to his consistency coming off the bench.
I think so too. The last topic.
I haven't seen him play that much.
NBA award votings. That's the title of the show.
I think he's been the most consistent player coming off the bench. I think he's been the most consistent player. He's come off the bench and giving you your
best player in basketball too.
I haven't seen him play that much, but I think that he's gonna definitely. I'm definitely going with him because Boston needs. I'm gonna flip that vote. Boston needs a 6-man off the bench, so obviously it's Brogdon because Boston they want to win the title. They want to go to the NBA Finals again, so he's a key player they traded for. They didn't trade Tice and everybody else for nothing, so they brought in Brogdon, and he's put up those good numbers with the Celtics.
Big time.
What about for your 6-man, Austin Reeves or Christian Wood?
Let's go with that's an interesting one. In Dallas, he's been in trade rumors. He hasn't been that happy. He's been not liking his minutes or
messing up his minutes.
Yeah, and I mean the trade they made to get him to Houston, I thought they made a good decision of trading for him, but they got rid of so many picks, and of course they traded away Boban, who hasn't done anything in Houston except sit on the bench and do commercials all year, obviously. But I'm gonna probably go with if he gets minutes, I would probably go with Wood if he's consistently getting minutes in the playoffs.
I'm gonna say this. So Wood is by a good margin a better player than Austin Reeves. By a good margin. Like, I don't really think that we can have a conversation about who's a better player. Who would I rather have on my team at this moment? I believe that's the conversation we're having. I'm going to take Reeves just because Christian Wood has been, like you said, a little bit of a liability to Dallas in the past 20 or 25 games or so. So at this very moment, I'll take Reeves, but who's the better player? It's Christian Wood.
Yeah. Jason Kidd's also just ruining his minutes. There'll be one game where he'll play 30 minutes.
It's so inconsistent.
Barely 15. I don't understand it. Same with Jalen Hardy too, because I think Hardy's really good.
Like how does a player get in rhythm when you don't play them consistently and when you ask them to do different things every night?
And I think honestly, if I'm Dallas's front office, if I'm Mark Cuban, I might be exploring a new coach. I really don't like Jason Kidd. I mean, Jason Kidd's a good guy. He's one of the greatest point guards ever. But rotationally, the way he disperses player minutes is insane to me. Because a guy like
something
Jalen
about
Hardy,
these.
I do think Kyrie is hindering Jalen Hardy's development because Jalen Hardy was supposed to take that next up scoring role, and in comes Kyrie. But Hardy should still be playing meaningful minutes off the bench, and it feels like since when Kyrie's on the court, he's just kind of too small as far as like, oh wow, I'm next to Kyrie, my minutes are all the way down, I can't get my shots. Then Christian Wood, since Kyrie's coming in, I'm not saying the Kyrie trade was good or bad. I'm saying Kyrie comes in, all of a sudden Christian Wood goes from like 25, 30 minutes a game to barely 15 in some nights. And it's like, where are you going with this lineup, Jason Kidd?
Yeah, I agree.
Totally agree.
It's something about these ex players and their rotations. Like even when Steve Nash, I was like, what are these rotations sometimes, man? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at like Christian Wood. Oh, he did get 30. But that's with like, I want to see, I'm going to look at the minutes with Luka and Kyrie were playing. Let's see. Oh, against the Phoenix game. Let's see his minutes. Christian Wood only played 22 minutes, barely. Jalen Hardy didn't even play. He played Frank Ntilikina 9 minutes and didn't even play Jalen Hardy against Phoenix. Ntilikina got 9 minutes.
Frank?
Ex-Knicks player. Ex-New York Knick.
Frank. Are we talking about Frank?
Yes.
We're talking about Frank.
Frank Ntilikina.
Got 9 minutes in the Suns game that with Katie's debut or second game or whatever it was. They played Dallas. Wow. Whatever.
That's still terrible. I mean, he's on the – I didn't even know he was on Dallas until my friend said, he's on the Mavericks, dude. They go, Ntilikina, I thought he was playing over – no, he's in Dallas playing for the Mavericks. Like, I did not know that. That is the craziest thing that I've heard or I've seen because I haven't seen him play that many minutes this year.
We're going to do to end the show, we're going to do our NBA award votings. I don't know if you guys have your award votings on the top of your head or not, but we're going to do the NBA award votings. So I've already done the MVP discussions already, but so we're going to go from MVP, DPOY, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, Sixth Man, and Coach of the Year. In good takes, I want to start with you. Who is winning each NBA MVP award? Not MVP. Right. Who's winning each NBA award?
Who's winning their award in their respective thing? All right, so for MVP, this one may be because this is the hard part talking about MVP. There are 3 deserving candidates. Most years, there are 1 or 2 deserving candidates, but this year there are 3 guys that you could not bat an eye if they won the MVP. I'm personally going to have to take Giannis, although I think in this very moment, a lot of people are thinking Joel Embiid. But in this very moment, the last 15 games, we've been talking about Joel Embiid's tear. Giannis has been averaging more points, more rebounds, been playing better on defense, and has a higher percentage. And I still think the Bucks are going to end number 1 in the conference. So for me personally, I have to give it to Giannis. I would love to watch Joel Embiid win an MVP. I think he's had multiple deserving years, and some of them got cut short due to injuries. But I'm not about that anymore. Fuck that. I'm taking Giannis for MVP. That's what I think. So I'm sorry, Sixers fans.
That's got to be – that's your take. Because my take for the MVP award has always been back and forth. We have 2 teams or 3 players that I got. I got the – I've not been – got to take notes on this, but the MVP award is between Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid. That's a hard vote for me, and that's a hard one for me to choose. Is it who do you like the most, Giannis, Embiid, or Jokic? The Bucks, I do like them because they're the number 1 seed. They've been playing well. Philly has been playing well with Joel and James, and last year, of course, we had the injuries. They're the number 2 seed. And then, of course, you have Denver, who has been trying to knock on the door and trying to make the NBA Finals with everybody healthy and everyone back in uniform this year. And Jokic is not having to do all the work by himself. But I'm probably going to have to go with Embiid, if he gets it.
I don't really want to explain Embiid because I did last show, but quick explanation why I picked Embiid. I've had Jokic or I had Luka Doncic start the season. Remember when Luka Doncic won that 60-point triple-double tear during the early in the season in December or something like that?
Heck yeah.
Jokic, Embiid. Oh, wow. Luka was my MVP for the first couple of months, and then I went Jokic.
But he's been injured.
Because Jokic had by far the best record in the West, and he was getting those triple-doubles, 40-point triple-doubles. But now they're slipping. I got to pick Embiid. I do see why Giannis. I just think Embiid's dominance has just been a bit better this year. League leading score, 10 rebounds, 56% shooting, 55% shooting, something like that. Great shooting splits for a big man. I think like 85 from the free throw line, 35 from 3. That's great splits from a big man. Second seed in the East. His dominance is great. I think Giannis has a really good argument too. Defensively, you can argue who's been better this year. I think they've been about the same or something like that. You can argue who's been better defensively.
I agree, and there is something to say about this year. Every single year, you always have controversy. Someone's upset that their player didn't win the MVP. Someone was more deserving. This year, we have 3 candidates whoever wins it, I don't want any of these toxic NBA fans to go on and start discrediting this person, start discrediting Giannis, start discrediting Embiid.
No.
Any one of those three that wins it this year, we're not going to bat an eye. We're not going to argue. They all had MVP seasons. But if your player lost, you just got to shut your mouth, man.
Actually, not because Embiid fans will be extremely mad.
They will.
Yeah, because last year in the playoffs, in Philadelphia last year in the playoffs against the Heat, when he didn't get the MVP award and Jokic got it, you can tell that he was not performing because I didn't get MVP. I don't know why I'm even playing in the playoffs. He's out of the first round. That's not fair for me.
Embiid's about to have 2 straight scoring titles, bro. Insane.
I mean, he's
as a center.
And of course, everybody has a narrative of the same guy wins the same award every year. Nobody else gets it. Like, for example, the Golden State Warriors. I'm going to tie into Steph Curry. When Curry first got it in 2014-15, everybody was like, oh, he beat LeBron. Oh, LeBron was out. 2015-16 rolls around, and a lot of people were still saying, oh, Steph had the scoring title of the year, or he had the overall number 1 seed with 73 wins and still no ring. And people do that a lot. I keep saying, even if you win the MVP and you go on to win and you don't win the championship, there's no reason to get upset by it. I mean, most NBA players, some win the MVP and then they go on to win Finals MVP. We saw LeBron do it twice in Miami. 2012 when we had the rebounding year, in 2013 when they had the winning streak and Ray Allen hit the big shot, and they're like, he won the MVP award and the Finals. I mean, some people get so upset when their team does not, when they get the MVP and their team does not win the championship. So for Embiid and the Sixers, the time is now. The time is to win a championship or go to a conference final.
Embiid has those. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but I like when my MVPs have MVP moments, and Embiid has those buzzer beaters. He has those clutch shots this season, that step back. So I think overall, Embiid's dominance has just been a bit better than Giannis's. But if you want to say Giannis, that's fine. I just think the MVP might just be a pity award for MVP. I know some of my arguments for Embiid are just a pity award. Like, finally, just give it to him. He's got to get his back-to-back scoring titles. But that's true.
Yeah, and then, of course, we have Tatum. You forgot Tatum, too, because Boston, they had Tatum as the MVP, but I don't think he's getting there.
Tatum's out. They try to put
Tatum in Steph.
I'm sleeping.
They try to put Steph. Actually, Tatum for me has fallen down on my top 10 players list.
Because Boston's having the Celtics are in a tailspin right now because they've lost.
I still see inconsistencies from Jason Tatum that I thought he was going to smooth over this season. But I still see games where Jason Tatum's really good one game, 40 points, and the next game he's giving you 19.
The thing about
terrible efficiency.
The thing about me with Jason Tatum is he has so much cushion to lean on, because when Tatum doesn't perform, nobody talks about it because his co-star Jaylen Brown comes in and saves the day and has a great game. Not a lot of these players have that cushion. So when you have your co-star outplaying you with relatively same play style, for me, you can't win the MVP because you got almost your equal on your team. So
I made that take 2 months ago when Jason Tatum was at probably the highest MVP he was. I think people arguing Jason Tatum to be second or third in the MVP. And I made that take 2 months ago.
We have other NBA awards, of course. We have
if you're the MVP.
We have the other awards too. We're forgetting about a couple more awards. I mean, we have MVP.
No. We're going to talk about DPOY next, right?
Yeah, that's my favorite one. The DPOY one is my favorite award because I love seeing those guys get the shot blocked at the rim, or before they're going to posterize someone, they're going to get their shot sent back to the cheap seats. That's my favorite award, the Defensive Player of the Year award.
Who's your guys' DPOY?
It's pretty simple for me. And I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about this, but for me, I have Evan Mobley as the DPOY in his sophomore season. Reason being is that the Cavaliers exceeded expectations this year with Donovan Mitchell coming.
I'm going to go with, you're going to say Evan Mobley. You're going to say Evan, but I'm going to go with his co-star.
He's not done.
Hold on. The reason I have Evan Mobley as my DPOY is because they are the number one defense in the league, strictly anchored by this young man. And if you watch Evan Mobley play, he has inconsistencies on the offensive end. Every single night he shows up and he plays defense. This is his second year, and He is a better defender than Brook Lopez. And the only reason I'm not giving it to Jaren Jackson Jr. is because you can't play 50 games and win DPOY. You're not like Evan Mobley's shown up from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. They're the number one defense. It's Evan Mobley for me.
Yeah, for Cleveland, you talked about the Cavaliers and you said, "Oh, Evan Mobley." I'm gonna contort with you on that because his co-star or his running mate, the Twin Towers, I call them in Cleveland. You got Mobley and you got Allen.
Where is he?
Yeah,
and there's
Allen's still there,
one.
And they're still number one. And Jared Allen, I mean, for my vote was originally Jared Allen, but I said for Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go Jared Allen. But no, I'm going to go with Evan Mobley because Evan this year and the Cleveland Cavaliers have exceeded expectations. Overall, the Cavaliers this year have beaten a lot of good teams in the East. I mean, they beat Boston, they beat Miami. I don't know if they beat Philadelphia because I haven't even been paying attention to the schedule, but they beat the Clippers, and then they sweep the Lakers twice in the regular season, a LeBron James Laker team. I remember being at the Cavs and Lakers game, and I simply was looking at my cousin and said, this team is impressive. Like, this Cavaliers team is impressive right here. And then we said Mitchell's got to get in the All-Star vote. What about Mobley? Dude, my Defensive Player of the Year vote has got to be Evan Mobley in the second year. First year, he came in there, was injury-prone a little bit, but this year, Defensive Player of the Year vote has got to go to Mobley because Jaren Jackson Jr.
Didn't play enough games, dude.
Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo is another name that I have as a Defensive Player of the Year vote. And Lopez. And, of course, that's it. I mean, those are my Defensive Player of the Year votes. But what do you got, Steven? I mean, who do you think should be Defensive Player of the Year this season?
Okay. For my DPOY, I had Jaren Jackson, but to your point, the 55 games is sus, and I don't think I can reward him for playing 55 games. I think I can give him an all-defensive team, but 55
you can go
games.
That far. But you're not getting the award. You're not getting the award. The award goes to the guy.
How many games do the Grizzlies have left? Like 9. So if he does play all the games, he'll play 64 games.
Yeah.
I think you got to play like 70 to win an award.
Absolutely.
So Evan Mobley is
consensus DPOY. He's that dude.
Yep.
He's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem, dude. He's going to be a problem. He's going to be
the playoffs.
What about? I'm having a hard time picking between Evan Mobley or Brook Lopez because
let me address this one.
When I look at Brook Lopez, he's played the same amount of games basically. He has actually a higher individual defensive rating. I know your defensive
and shooting.
I know your defensive rating kind of depends on your team, but
and 3-point shooting is another thing that Lopez brings to Milwaukee.
Defensive rating on his team. He has more blocks per game than Evan Mobley. His team's block.
And I haven't seen Mobley.
I haven't
seen Evan shooting threes.
When I pull up
DPOY, who cares about threes?
When I pull up his advanced stats, I see that he has a higher team block percentage than Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley beats him in steals by like 0.3. Evan Mobley does have a higher rebound percentage than Brook Lopez, but Brook Lopez beats him in defensive win shares. Points in the opponent's points in the paint is lower. All these opponent statistics are lower for Brook Lopez. Turnovers that Brook Lopez forces is higher. Field goal percentage and points in the paint are lower for Brook Lopez. Defensive win shares is higher. Blocks is higher. Defensive rating is higher. They play the same amount of games. And I think Milwaukee's on a better what is Milwaukee, the number one defensive team in the league? I gotta look
second to Cavaliers. This is why Evan Mobley takes out Brook Lopez because Brook Lopez has the best situation in the NBA.
Oh, actually, I just looked it up. Sorry not to cut you off. The Milwaukee Bucks are 0.1 higher on the team defensive rating than Cleveland. Cleveland's 109.8 and Milwaukee's 109.7.
So that's cool. Even with them being tied, it's the exact same thing for me. Brook Lopez is the third best defender on his team. Drew Holiday is objectively a better defender because he's the best guard defender in the NBA. Giannis, as you will see in the playoffs, Brook Lopez is going to take a little bit of a lesser defensive role. Giannis is going to be in that paint. He's going to be hogging that paint, looking for those blocks. So Giannis is a better defender than Brook Lopez. He's the third best defender on his team objectively. Evan Mobley loses his co-star in Jared Allen, the Twin Towers, and is still having the Cavaliers with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, two very small, shitty defensive guards. He is making that team the number one or 0.1 behind the Milwaukee Bucks. You have Drew Holiday, Bobby Portis, Giannis Antetokounmpo. We have top-tier defenders in this lineup. So Evan Mobley alone is doing more than Brook Lopez for me.
Actually, that's not a bad point. I think we can all agree that Jaren Jackson, like I said, Jaren Jackson's not in it. But to make a case for Brook Lopez again,
third best defender on his team.
His individual they play the same amount of games. Brook Lopez's individual defensive rating is lower. His block percentage is higher for his team's blocks. He has more blocks per game than Evan Mobley. He forces more turnovers and allows less shots to go in and points in the paint than Evan Mobley, and has a higher defensive win shares than Evan Mobley. But I do agree. But I do get what you're saying, though. But I think it's a toss-up between the two. If you want to say Evan Mobley, that's fine. But I think Brook Lopez definitely has a compelling case to be Defensive Player of the Year. But I do get what you're saying about Evan Mobley, though, because
Evan's been good. I mean, he's been good for Cleveland. People don't want to give Evan credit.
When are we going to recognize how impressive it is for a second-year player to be the best defender in the league?
I mean, for his length,
that's impressive.
His length is good.
I don't mean best defender, because you mean the best defender in the league is Giannis, but I mean this year he's played the most games being the best defender in the league. So therefore he is the best defender in the league. Now, truthfully, Giannis is better, but Evan Mobley's the best defender in the league, man.
I got to look at that stat because I got to pull up the NBA draft board of how many games he played, because I think he's played a lot of. I'm going to see.
Missed 5 games or something like that, more or less. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but I'm going to see if he's not missed any games this season, because that's the other thing too. Because that's got to be that's going to be the number right there. How many games you played? If you played all 82, I'm going to give you that award too. That's the other award I got to give out too. There should be an NBA award called the 82, the Iron Man Award. If you didn't miss any games this season, they need to give that award. The NBA needs to implement that, because way back in the day,
Davis would win that every year.
I mean, Russell Westbrook got it originally.
I low-key think the best defender in basketball is Anthony Davis when healthy, but that's besides the point. Giannis is arguable though. He could be number 1.
That's not a bad take for sure.
I just wanted to show love to Anthony Davis.
Yeah, AD. I got to show some love to him. But another award we have to get to, my other favorite award. This is the one award where everybody's been talking. Even though we talked about MVP, we talked about Defensive Player of the Year award. We have 2 more.
Most improved 6 man.
We got some more than that.
Most improved 6 man.
We have
Coach of the Year.
6 man and Coach of the Year.
Oh yeah, the Coach of the Year.
Start with Rookie of the Year. I think everyone has.
We already know who's
though. If anyone wants to say anything but Paolo Banchero.
No, it's Paulo.
Yeah.
No,
Paolo's my rookie. Paolo is rookie because Jaden Ivey.
I'll shout out Jaden. Shout out Williams. I'll shout out Williams. I'll shout him out because the second half of the second half of the season, he has come on and he has been more efficient. He has shot the ball better. He has played a little bit better defense than Paulo as well. I'll give him his flowers, but let's be real. This is a season award. Across the entire season as Paulo. I'll say that, but I'll give him his flowers. Good job, Williams.
And for Benedict Mathurin from the Pacers, I'm going to give him his flowers too. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, for Cleveland, Isaiah Mobley and the other rookies have not really done anything recently. So, or the Laker rookie. I mean, not Cole Wilder, but Max Christie, and Scottie Pippen. You guys don't play consistent minutes, so I'm not going to give that Rookie of the Year award.
I do want to shout out Jabari Smith. I think he is actually not that good of a basketball player that Houston just makes him out to look like. I do think if he was in a better situation, he'd thrive. His field goal percentage is kind of terrible, but I do think because he's playing in a terrible situation, I think Jabari Smith would finish top 5, maybe top 3, but I think everyone thinks it's Paolo. Okay, most improved player of the year. Who wins that?
Easy money.
Ooh.
You have 2 choices, and it depends. You have 2 choices, and it depends on how you view the award. So for me, it's between Lauri Markkanen and it's between Shea. Now, if you want someone that went from a kind of a role player that jumped to a all-star level caliber, you take Lauri Markkanen because he went up 10 points per game. He's averaging 50, 40, 80 splits. 50, 40, 80 splits. So he's now the number one guy on a 500 team. And if you want to talk about 500 teams, like the Warriors are a 500 team. So Lauri Markkanen is that guy from role player to star. But if you want to go from star to superstar, you take Shai because he's had 25 points up to 31 points per game. And people don't realize 25 to 31 is a ridiculous jump. People go from 25 to 27 and people go, wow, he's really improved. 27 to 29, wow, he's really improved. 25 to 31, he said, I'm a star. I'm first team level now. He's at 31 points per game, number one option on a playoff team. So it depends on what you want. Do you want role player to star? Or do you want star to superstar?
I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is making some big improvements, but my take on the most improved award, it should be reserved for role players. And I think most improved should be given to guys who come into the season with zero expectations. Guys who are mostly role players, kind of just like, you know what I'm saying? Guys with zero expectations who aren't expected to be all-stars. Guys who just come in with no expectations. No one expected them to really be anything. So when we talk about Lauri Markkanen, he was seen as just, I like Lauri Markkanen as a Cavs guy. I thought he had some nice potential, but most people saw him
I liked him in Chicago a little bit.
Most people saw Lauri as just some trade piece, get Donovan Mitchell. He was going to go to a tanking team, and he was just going to get 15 a game like he usually does. No one in their moms saw 25 points per game on almost 50, 40, 90 splits. No one saw that. No one could ever predict that. No one had expectations for Lauri to do what he's doing. So Lauri Markkanen went from a nice role player to an all-star, all-NBA level.
The number one option. The number one option on his team.
That's what most improved players should be doing. A guy this guy went from a role player to an all-NBA player, number one guy in his team.
To an all-star.
Should be tanking, that's all of a sudden battling for a playoff spot. That's who should be most improved. Shai is doing good. Shai is making improvements, but 25 to 31 points a game, that's a good jump. But I like the 15 to 25 points per game. Yeah. I think it's a bigger jump than 25 to 31 because Shai went from all-NBA third team to all-NBA first team. That is a jump, but we had somewhat of an expectation for Shai to take some step. We did. Yep. We had some expectations. We had all-star expectations for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We knew he was buckets. We knew. Yeah. We didn't think Lauri Markkanen could be an all-NBA level player. So for guys to be no expectation, it's like when we think about the all-NBA, when we think about the most improved last year. So Ja Morant, did Ja Morant make a big jump? Obviously, but I just don't think we had expectations for Ja Morant. Players with expectations should not win most improved player. A guy like Jordan Poole, who was the year prior, was G League all third team. He had no expectations to come into the Warriors, win a championship, and be 19.
Contribute.
No one expected that. He had zero expectations. He was in the G League, for crying out loud. I think a better candidate than Shai should be Jalen Brunson because we all kind of wrote off Jalen Brunson as some nice little double-digit scoring role player who can contribute, but he isn't no all-star. And then all of a sudden becomes a 24-point-per-game all-star. I think Jalen Brunson has a better case because I think at the end of the day, the most improved player should be reserved for role players, small-level players who have zero expectations, who rise to an all-star, competitive, key player type role.
It's Lauri's award.
Yeah, and you're forgetting about there's some other candidates for most improved who actually got on the phone as well. You have Lowry, SGA, and Bol of the Orlando Magic as well. And I don't think that Bol is he's not a most improved, but there's some. Lowry
at the beginning of the season was most improved player.
Yeah, but Lowry. Your point about Lauri Markkanen is very powerful and palpable because when he first came to the league, he was going to a Chicago Bulls team with Jimmy Butler because people forgot about this. When he came to Chicago, it was in the Jimmy Butler deal to get LaVine and Chris Dunn, and Jimmy was going to Minnesota. When he got to Chicago, he was playing like a great rookie, just overall coming from Finland, putting up good numbers and everything. Second year, he has an elbow injury, doesn't really fit into the Bulls offense when Hoiberg got fired and Boylen took over, and Boylen kind of told him, you're going to be coming off the bench. And when Boylen was there, it was bad. And in Chicago, he played 2 more years. Final year in 2020-21, got traded to Cleveland, got more minutes, and then getting traded to Utah. I remember saying, this dude, people that are Bull fans and people that are Cav fans are probably upset, or if you're a Timberwolves fan, you're probably upset.
Real Cavs fans were upset. Real Cavs fans knew Laurie had
And I told him if you're a Bulls fan and you were throughout the years when they tanked, you're probably upset too. And if you're a Timberwolves fan and you said, "Oh, why are you drafting this guy?" You're probably upset because they passed on him. And Lowry's probably laughing and saying, "Hey, I'm an all-star. All of you guys passed on me." And even though the Jazz are the 10th spot in the playoffs or the 11th spot right now, this year he's been playing great. I mean, I was impressed by Lowry. Like, I was actually really, really impressed by him. And I said he's an all-star and he's got to be the most improved player this season because overall this year he's had to say, "Oh, I'm not a scrub anymore. I'm going to be an all-star." And then also Mikal Bridges is another name they threw out there as a ballot, of course. But I'm going to give the award to Lowry.
All right, now on to sixth man of the year. Good takes teased it earlier.
The big one.
I'm on that Malcolm Brogdon train. I mean, we're talking about a guy who, what is he, 15 a game? I don't have the stats on my dome, but I got to look it up. I think he's like 15 a game on really good, efficient shooting splits. Efficient player.
People put as for sixth man, somebody put down as a candidate, they put down Emmanuel Quigley from the Knicks, and then somebody else put Norman Powell from the Clippers as sixth man of the year. And I said, no, Powell's not a sixth man because he's been injury prone and he has an arm injury.
Malcolm Brogdon is, I just looked it up, 15 a game, coming
4
off
and
the bench,
5.
15, 4 and 5, giving you almost 50, 40, 90 splits, 45% from threes, one of the league's best three-point shooters, six man for the number one team. Oh, they're no longer the number one team, but for a while.
And who puts Jose Alvarado as the sixth man?
This is the number one team in the East. Originally was the number one team in the East for a long period of time, but they're still top team in the East. He's contributing.
They're dangerous.
He holds his own when he comes in the starting lineup. I think it should be Malcolm Brogdon. I think who else is going to get
Boston.
votes? Christian Wood's going to get votes. Bobby Portis is going to get votes. I think Jordan.
Buck fans.
Jordan Poole.
They love Bobby.
Starting for me, I don't know if I can put Jordan Poole in. I think he's just spent too much time starting, but I don't know.
Yeah,
but for Portis, I mean, people are saying, I forgot, when you vote for the sixth man, you have Brogdon, you have Portis, and someone put that. I don't think Jose Alvarado, he is not a sixth man of the year, going to get that award. He's only done one thing, and that's literally just hide right here in the corner and run out and steal the ball. That's Alvarado for you.
He's a good shooter.
And he's a shooter, and he can talk a lot of junk. He's always saying, like when Russell said, "Can you shoot?" And he tells D'Lo, "I can shoot. Like, don't worry about that." And I mean, he doesn't back down to anybody. But for Portis, my man Bobby in Milwaukee, he's a sixth man of the year candidate for a reason, because he doesn't, even though he's missed games, he doesn't back down to anybody. He's not afraid to shine from the moment. And he just says, "I'm not." And he also is an NBA champion for a reason. Even though people might give Bobby a bad rap from what he did in Chicago, where he punched out his teammate Nico Mirotic, but they say, "Oh, Bobby's this," but he's a good player. I mean, him and Brogdon both are my two candidates for sixth man of the year for this season. I think I got to go with Brogdon over Portis because Bobby. He's been playing. He's been on a stretch. He's been on a spree this week. But we'll have to wait and see.
Good takes. You got anything to say about Brogdon?
No. For me, Brogdon. I mean, it's 15, 4 and 5. He's coming off the bench. He's played a lot of games. The Celtics are where they are because of him. Not much to say about Brogdon. He's the sixth man of the year for me.
What about the one? We have the sixth man, but we got one more award. We got two more awards. Coach of the year and executive. And executive of the year as well.
Who votes on executive, bro?
No. I'm not voting for executive, but coach of the year.
Give it to Rob Pelinka. If the Lakers make the playoffs, give it to Rob Pelinka. All right.
Coach of the year, Rob Pelinka?
Or
executive? Oh, yeah.
If the Lakers,
I got to go with Rob.
Make the playoffs and get a really good seed. Give executive of the year.
Or Kobe Altman. Let's not forget Kobe Altman is another executive of the year, too, because of the Donovan Mitchell trade and the other moves they made, as well getting rid of not getting rid of Kevin Love, but making the trade for Donovan Mitchell. That's got to be executive of the year award right there.
The
for
non-executive of the year should go to the Brooklyn Nets for losing Kyrie and KD in the same season. Okay.
Josiah gets
Coach of the year.
but Coach of the Year. That's my favorite award right there.
That's going to be
easy.
my next idea. I should do reverse NBA awards for the people who deserve the MVP the least, who deserve the coach.
LVP, the LVP awards.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that for next show. Okay, Coach of the Year. I'm a Mike Brown guy.
Yeah,
I think Kings had zero expectations to be this good. I had him as like
light the beam.
I had him as like the 10th, 9th seed. I didn't ever see them being pushing second seed for a couple weeks. I didn't see that. They're top 3 seed in the Western Conference. Mike Brown has completely transformed that locker room. The light the beam culture is one of the best cultures in basketball. Transformed. Sacramento's filling out seats because he's taken this team to new heights they've never been in years. Since like 07, something like that. Heights they haven't been since like 07. It's got to be Mike
Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year
for me,
awards.
Yeah.
No, dude. For me, Mike Brown didn't just transform the Sacramento Kings. They had De'Aaron Fox
he
and
rebuilt.
Sabonis. No, for real, because they had Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox sit down and really talk about Mike Brown. And Fox was talking about, since he got into the league, he never really experienced a hardcore disciplinarian. And he was talking about how Mike Brown is the biggest disciplinarian. He's calling timeouts 20 seconds into an NBA game to call someone out directly to their face, saying, this is not what we're supposed to be doing. Post-game interviews, he's back.
That's Mike's coaching.
Post-game interviews, he's backing his boys, talking about we don't take shit from nobody. They're the 2nd seed. People were not even expecting the Kings to make the playoffs. I mean, for God's sakes, nobody in the NBA, including Udonis Haslem, has ever played the Kings in the playoffs. And now they're the 2 seed. Come on, man. Give me Mike Brown. It's very easy.
And I mean,
dude's Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year this season, I mean, there's so many names that I have for Coach of the Year. You have Mike Brown. You have Joe Mazzulla. You got Michael Malone, Taylor Jenkins, J.B. Bickerstaff. And, of course, you got Mike Dagenham from the Thunder and Will Hardy. But I'm going to narrow it down to only 3 coaches or 4 coaches. Mike Brown, Joe Mazzulla, and Michael Malone are my top picks. But I'm going Mike Brown because you're a Warrior fan. I see you wearing the Golden State Warrior hat. But with Mike Brown and his coaching, I've seen it up close and I've seen it behind closed doors. When he was coaching in Cleveland, he would always say in a certain play when he's talking to LeBron or he's talking to Shaq, he was like, we're not doing that. You need to, when you set the screen, go around. And then when the Lakers, when he was there with Kobe and he was there with Fish and Bynum in a timeout, he talked to one of the young guys and told him, hey, you're going to get the play. Don't slump your shoulders and have an attitude and beat yourself up over it. It was one sloppy pass. And in Cleveland, same thing. He had Kyrie. He told Kyrie, be strong with the ball. Go to the hole or draw the foul. And with Golden State, when he had Steph and Kevin and those guys, when Steve was out with the back injury, he took over and Mike did a tremendous job holding the fort down. And Mike Brown's coaching is in practices. He's like, turn the jets on. Let's go. And he's like, we're not taking no shit from nobody. And he's got a no nonsense approach when you come to practice. Like every day in practice, he's like, he whistles like, come, let's go. Like, good morning, gentlemen, or good afternoon, gentlemen. We're playing this team. And every single day after they win a game, when they light the beam in the locker room, when they celebrate, he has a chain. Everyone in Sacramento, I mean, that's what coaches are doing. In Cleveland and Denver and Sacramento, they have the chain where the coach is like, this chain is going to go to this player because they did this in the game tonight, or they played this certain amount of minutes, or this stat popped out. And that's what the Kings culture has been doing this year. Joe Mazzulla from the Celtics, he's another front runner. What do you think about Mazzulla as a Coach of the Year candidate? Taking over for Udoka.
I don't think he scrapes Mike Brown's sole of his shoe.
No, I don't think he touches any of those coaches.
And Malone, Michael Malone's another name because Denver has.
I don't know why. I'm
Malone's been impressive in Denver. Let's not forget, Michael Malone has experience. You should give votes. Yeah, and then of course Taylor Jenkins. He's another front runner as well. J.D. Bickerstaff's another. But I gotta give it to Brown.
Well, we're definitely not discrediting other coaches by saying it. Like, other coaches deserve second place votes, but all of the first place votes are Mike Brown deserving.
Should be.
Yeah, because the Sacramento Kings this season are I mean, we did a thing about the Kings, and we talked about how the Kings had to rebuild and had drama and problems with the players. And I mean, even though people like, I remember my buddy was like, we're getting to the playoffs and DeMarcus Cousins isn't playing. Maybe Boogie should come back to Sacramento. No, Cousins is not going to return to Sacramento. That is not happening because someone wants that to happen where he says they should bring DeMarcus Cousins. No, they're not going to bring back DeMarcus Cousins, guys. I mean, even though you want him to come back to Sacramento, I don't think that's a good idea. But the Kings, they overall exceeded my expectations this year. And I'm happy for the Kings fans because I've had to deal with my buddy who's a Kings fan over the years, and he's been depressed, and he's always been like, we're not in the playoffs. We're sitting here at home every year. This sucks. And I told him this year, you guys are going to make the playoffs. For all you Kings fans, this is your year. You guys are not sitting at home. You're going to make the playoffs, and this will be the first time this ever going to happen. And the King fans are excited, and they said, you see this? See all this? Dude, we're lighting the beam every night. When we win a game, we light that because it was a thing where my friends like, light the beam. And then they light the beam, and the fans are excited. They're ecstatic. They love their basketball out there in Sacramento. I mean, they want to be in the playoffs. They don't want to be – they're no slouch now. I mean, Brown, of course, has got to get that award.
Okay. Before we end the show, everyone just give me your All-NBA first team. So I'll start with mine.
Ooh, that's tough.
The guards are so hard to rank because I just think there's 8 to 10 guards who are at an All-NBA level right now. And there's going to be some guys who are going to get left off. But when it comes to my All-NBA first team, I'm starting with Luka and Steph. Now, they haven't played as many games as some of the other guards who are available, but I just think those are the two best guards in the NBA. I think when they're on the court, those are the two best guards in the NBA. And then
who do you got for your first?
What?
Who do you got for your All-NBA first team for guards?
I said Luka and Steph. I think when they're on the court, I think those are the two best guards in the NBA. And then when it comes to forwards, the two forwards, I think Giannis is a lock. Obviously, he's a lock. He's an MVP level. Now, I would put Tatum for small forward. I think he was battling with Embiid. He was battling with Kevin Durant for that other forward spot for a while, but Kevin Durant's been hurt. So I got to give it to Tatum because I don't think there are that many forwards who are really competing for an All-NBA first-team spot. The forwards position is kind of weak this year because LeBron's done. LeBron's not going to get an award. Kevin Durant's probably not going to get an All-NBA award because he's missed a lot of time. So give it to Tatum. And then for my center, I'm going Embiid because I think he's been better than Jokic this season. I mean, if you want to say Jokic, it's fine. I just think Embiid's been more dominant than Jokic. So All-NBA first team for me, some casual takes, is Luka, Steph, Tatum, Giannis, Embiid.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I'll go now. For guards, I mean, I don't really think it's a discussion. Luka and Steph are 1 and 2. You can debate your mom on who's 1 and 2. Personally, I actually think that Luka has taken the jump over Steph this year. I think Steph's been the best guard in the league for a while, but you can argue that Luka is the best guard in the league right now. So I'm definitely taking Luka and Steph for those guards. You obviously have to have Giannis in there. For my center, it is so hard. I'm also taking Tatum as a forward as well. Yeah. I would love to give it to Kevin Durant, but he just didn't play as many games. I would give it to Kevin Durant if he played more games. I was going to too. 100%. He was in the MVP race, for goodness sakes. For my center, I'm literally torn. And for me, I actually can't go back on what I was thinking before. As much as Joel Embiid's recent absolute tear is just making me want to give him the MVP. It's making me want to put him as first team. I'm putting Jokic at the All-NBA first team. He's going to have the number 1 team in the West. Nobody expected Denver to be the number 1 team in the West. And all we have to do really is just sit and wait to see what he can do in the playoffs.
I think Embiid is just so weird when we look back when he retires. Because if he does become All-NBA second team again, how many years was he at a first team level when he just wasn't All-NBA first team?
Every year. He's the best second team center that you can find ever.
This might be the best All-NBA second team player ever. Because he's at the second team.
The second team objectively
every year, but since there's only one center spot, for the last 3 years he's been an All-NBA first team center, and he's just going to keep getting All-NBA second teams because they want to give it to Jokic.
Yeah, the vote for me for all first team with guards, I'm probably going Luka of course, if he's healthy, and Steph if he's healthy, and Kyrie. I'm going with those three. And then for forwards,
Oh, you only have 2 guards. You can only have 2 guards.
dang it. I'm not going to go
and
with
Steph.
It's Luka and Steph,
Kyrie out.
but and then take Kyrie out. But if they did West and East, and then the East for the guards, I'm going to probably go with Mitchell. Probably Donovan Mitchell.
It's all conferences combined.
Just
The 2
going
best
with
guards
Steph
in
and Luka.
basketball, the 2 best forwards in basketball, and the best center.
Oh,
That's how they
the
do it.
forwards. The forwards, I don't think LeBron's going to get it because he's been injury prone, and KD's been injured all this year. So I'm going with Giannis and Tatum, and then Embiid at center.
Yep.
So you got the same as me. Nice.
No, I'm going to go Jokic. I'm throwing Embiid out. I'm going with the MVP, Jokic. Because I mean, people don't respect Jokic that much.
Jokic is getting a little crazy now, but
yeah, my dad's like, I don't like Jokic's not the MVP. Like, yes, he is. Like, he's told me, you're just realizing the Denver Nuggets are the best team in the Western Conference. They're the number 1 seed, not the Phoenix Suns.
Philly actually has a better record, by the way.
They do.
Yep.
But since they're not in the West,
Boston, Philly, Boston, and Milwaukee all got a better record, and the Cavs are competing as well.
the Cavs,
that's going to be the interesting.
The 2 seed in the West if they're in the West, which is
I think
insane.
they're 2. Yeah,
Cleveland,
they're 2 games behind or something along those lines.
Like
I gotta
think
look at the
Cavs will be
standings.
second seed in the West if they move, because I think
They're the
top
4th
5
seed.
seeds overall in the NBA are 4 East and 1 West.
Yeah, but I was going to say they're 2 games behind the Nuggets, more or less. They're pretty close.
Cleveland's the 4th seed right now. They're actually the 4th seed because the teams that have clinched the playoffs in the East and in the East are Milwaukee, Boston, and Philly. Cleveland, New York, Miami, Brooklyn, and Atlanta are. The 7th and 8th seed, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Right now, 6th, 7th, and 8th are Miami 6th, Brooklyn is 7th, Atlanta is number 8, Toronto is 9, and Chicago is 10th. Eliminated are Detroit and Chicago and Charlotte. Western Conference, Denver, Memphis, Sacramento, Phoenix, the Clippers, and the Golden State Warriors are 1 through 6. 7th, 8th, and 9th are Minnesota, Dallas, the Lakers, and the Pelicans. And the Thunder are the 11th seed, and the Jazz are 12th. Eliminated are the Spurs, and the AAU Houston Rockets are the last seed in the West.
AAU Rockets. Well,
and the thing is, with Golden State Warrior fans, I know people are excited for this news, and I know many people like to see this guy come back for the Warriors now that he's going to be healthy. But GP is back. Gary Payton is expected to make his Warriors debut this weekend after a long recovery, and people are excited.
Still waiting on them to announce LeBron's timetable. LeBron said he doesn't even know.
I want him to be back. I really want a healthy Lakers squad in that play-in tournament, because when the play-in tournament starts, it's game on. And we'll see who's in the playoffs.
I think next show I've been dodging it. People have been telling me I've been dodging it, but I think next show I'm going to talk about the LeBron steroid allegations. People have been telling me I've been dodging it.
That's the easiest thing to address in the world. The steroid allegations. Okay, you know what? I have to say this now. If people are so delusional that they don't think. So first of all, these are the best athletes in the world, okay? In order to
you can't use steroids.
No. You have to hit the genetic lottery, and on top of that, you have to be using all of the UFC fighters, all of the tennis players, all of the basketball players, all of the NFL players. Now, don't get me wrong. People get like steroids wrong. Oh, they're taking testosterone. These people take things that they can recover quicker, so they can breathe better, so that their blood flows better. All of them are on something. So if you want to say, oh, this person's on this specific substance, then do that. But if you want to talk about how people are doping in general, every single professional athlete dopes, whether it's within the limits, whether they do it for a period of time before they get tested. All of these guys dope. So if you want to argue about people that use drugs, then don't watch professional athletes because they all do.
Yeah, like you can't convince me that Tiger Woods wasn't shooting up anabolic steroids when he was trying to come back after all those.
Like the perfect example was the Lance Armstrong.
The substance.
Do you remember when Lance Armstrong got all of his majors taken away from him in the cycling thing?
Yeah.
Every single cyclist that came below him said, we were all on the same thing. Why does
everyone in baseball after Barry Bonds, we was all on the same thing. But I think also people confused when they hear the word steroids, they don't understand like what it is. Like people just assume steroids are like HGH when
and
like,
testosterone. That's not what steroids is.
Most of the steroids these athletes are
it's true.
Just to recover quicker. They're just like anabolic steroids to like have their muscles recover quicker so they can accelerate their resting period and come back from injuries. I think Tatis took a steroid to come back from injury faster. And
one NBA player, like I always tell people that some players take that stuff, but you got to keep in mind there have been players that have been suspended for taking stuff like Joakim Noah and John Collins, and Ayton was suspended, Heo Turkoglu, because they took stuff that was not allowed by the league. That was like the anti-drug policy and stuff. I think, and Malik Monk was suspended for something, but still, I don't think that some players do take steroids, and people say, "Oh, LeBron takes steroids to get big." No, some of them hit the weight room too, and
LeBron
I don't know if the steroids are the weight room.
LeBron is for sure used some like anabolic steroid to help his recovery, for sure.
Yeah, he might take some protein like powder or something.
No, that's not. No.
I don't know.
Yeah, he takes creatine.
Because my friend looked at Giannis and said, "Look how big Giannis is." I mean, is it from lifting weights or something? I don't know. Or like he was skinny as a twig when he entered the league.
It's a combination
he was skinny.
Of the best genetics in the world, the best work ethic in the world, being in the gym, and taking your anabolic steroids.
And having like all this dollars to get the best medicine in the world and have doctors.
And then like he looks like in hyperbaric chambers.
Getting shots.
And then he looks like this.
People don't get other.
And then he's like. And then he looks like this, all big, going like, "Oh yeah, I'm big, I'm jacked." And my friend was like, "What are they feeding him?" Like some dude. It's steroids and some treatment,
and chicken and rice.
But what about lifting weights? Doesn't lifting weights make me big like that? No, that does not work, buddy. It's steroids and rice and some other stuff. I have them quit lifting weights and trying to look all jacked. It's not working.
Chipotle all day, bro. Y'all just hating. Anyways. Good show today. Thank you everyone for tuning in to the 24th episode of Some Casual Takes. Be back Monday. Yeah, I should be back Monday. That's the first day of school again. So I'll be back Monday. We'll talk about some more stuff. Hopefully there's better games this weekend. I gotta look at the NBA schedule real quick. So the Lakers played tonight. Hopefully there's better games because there wasn't that many games last night to talk about. So I think Monday I'm gonna do the reverse NBA awards where I talk about the least players at each position, like the worst sixth man, the worst NBA MVP, the worst coach.
LVP, LVP. We got to do that this week.
Sunday there's Bulls Lakers, so I can talk about Bulls Lakers on Monday. Okay, so there's some games, and there's Thunder play, Timberwolves play, so the West will shake up on Monday. So thank you for everyone for tuning in. Thank you for all the hosts for
Timberwolves and Warriors. That's another one on Sunday.
Monday around 5 p.m. Peace.
Yep.